You're with the Mojo Story. In a few moments from now, we will bring you the latest numbers from the poll of polls. We'll be looking at different exit polls and sharing with you what the big picture looks like, as well as doing a deep dive into the data to tell you whether, according to the exit polls, the Prime Minister is all set for a historic third term, which will equal Jawaharlal Nehru's record. The exit polls do point to many advantages for the NDA, but the story isn't over yet. The numbers are coming in real time. And over the next 2 hours, we'll be bringing you the breakdown of individual states, the surprises, the swing factors, and whether the India alliance that has wagered a bet on Narendra Modi being an outgoing prime minister has any reason to celebrate. Intriguingly, the Congress that had initially decided to boycott the exit polls in a late evening turnaround said that they believed the exit polls to not be impartial but would still be taking part in the conversation. So we hope to have a Congress representative with us on the program as well. But in the meantime, without further ado, let me introduce our guests on the program today. Welcome to this special broadcast where we're looking at the exit polls. Joining us is Kartikeya Batra. He's, of course, a political analyst and a researcher. Welcome to the program. Also joining us is Tripurdaman Singh, an author and historian. Welcome to the program. Shrikant Karunesh, leader of the BJP, actually the man who translates all of the Prime Minister's speeches from Hindi into Tamil. And the South push is going to be something very major we'll be talking about in a moment. So welcome to the program, Mr. Karunesh. Also joining us is Pavan Verma, author, former member of parliament, politician, man of many avatars. Welcome to the program. Also joining us on the program, if we can bring up our next guest, Matthew Anthony of the Congress Party. Welcome. I was just saying the Congress did a late evening U-turn on taking part in the exit polls. So we're glad to have you with us. And also finally joining us is Nasser Salim of the Samajwadi Party. Welcome to the program, everybody. Without further ado, let's bring up the first state that we have. Shrikant Karunesh, this will in particular interest you. It's your home state of Tamil Nadu. I'm going to take actually a few slides and basically the big picture from the exit polls basis the data that we have right now is that Modi's mission south to some degree, to some would argue to a large degree, has yielded success for the NDA, for the BJP. Exit polls are projecting that the BJP is set to possibly open its account in the state of Tamil Nadu. You can see there that Axis is actually suggesting there that 2 to 4 seats are available for the BJP as a new opportunity. Let me actually get Kartikeya to give us a quick overview. We should move from Tamil Nadu. By the way, we need to update that number because ABPC voter also says the same, and those numbers are not updated there. So both two major exit polls there are actually saying that the BJP will open its account in Tamil Nadu. And Kartikeya, before we actually take another look at the next southern state, which is Karnataka, a quick comment on Tamil Nadu, where Annamalai led a very high voltage campaign.
Yeah, thank you, Barkha. So I think more or less status quo continues in the sense that major polls are calling 37 to 39. We are calling 37 to 39 for India Alliance. And Axis is calling 30 to 37 seats for India Alliance. I think the big takeaway is that the BJP seems to be making some modest gains, whether it's 0 to 2 or 2 to 4. I think any seat that the BJP gets in conjunction with its alliance partners, BJP per se gets, I think would be a plus for them. But they're also in alliance with, the PMK. There is the TTV Dinakaran faction. There is the TTV Dinakaran party, I would say. They're also supporting Opanir Selvam in one seat, who's running as an independent. So I think this is kind of an opening, but I think status quo remains. And this was expected that DMK plus sort of dominating all seats. But I think it's a major fall for the AIADMK because this would be the third consecutive election where they have performed really badly if you include the 2021 state assembly election as well.
Okay, let's get quick comment from Shrikant Karunesh. It is his home state. Two major exit polls talking about the NDA opening its account, projecting 1 to 3 seats for the NDA in Tamil Nadu. Of course, the DMK Congress alliance continues to dominate the state of Tamil Nadu. A quick comment, Shrikant Karunesh.
Yeah. The overall results I've seen, it's very positive for the BJP. But in Tamil Nadu, it's really encouraging for us because here in Tamil Nadu, we have to create the narrative here because people were voting so far only for ADMK, DMK, or alliance with Congress. They were voting so far. So BJP has to penetrate despite any so popular negatives constructions about us.
Mhm.
So now what we feel is because of Annamalai ji, our state president, and Modi ji's factor, people have really looked at BJP as a second largest party next to DMK. And I still believe, I still doubt these kind of when pan India, so much of positive move is there towards BJP and Modi ji, and similar reflections must be here. Even we are expecting more percentage of votes and winning seats also positively, because this gives an indicative factor positively. It's on the encouraging side, but this may not be true. This may even still go up further, because this is showing us a trend. This is giving us outline picture, which is possibly the main picture, but still we can the real data, I think it will still improve in Tamil Nadu especially, because people have trusted us despite so much of money involvement, many other involvement here. The ruling party misused the power, money, everything here. Even then, no, we have outperformed all those effects, and we have sidelined ADMK, and we are proving our strength here. Means
Yeah.
definitely our seat and percentage will improve in Tamil Nadu.
Let me just get a brief comment from Pavan Verma. We now have those details on our screen, Pavan, as we're looking at Tamil Nadu. This was very, very important for the Prime Minister. He personally invested political capital in Tamil Nadu. He made multiple trips to Tamil Nadu. And there it seems to have yielded results. We've actually already moved on to Karnataka, where there's stupendously good news for the BJP. According to the exit polls, the BJP is actually holding on to Karnataka. It's a kind of status quo, nearly a status quo result compared to 2019. So for the BJP that really made this election about Modi's mission south, Tamil Nadu and opening, Karnataka holding on to what they had last time. Quick comments from you, Pavan, on this trend. Can we
I
unmute
think,
Pavan, please? Yeah, there you are. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, very quickly, the BJP made a special effort in this election to have a mission south, because they realized that their catchment area in the northwest is too narrow and they need to broad base it. Tamil Nadu was one of the primary states for that push. The BJP will now have votes in double digits for the first time in terms of percentage of votes. How that converts to seats, we don't know. But the BJP has established a presence in Tamil Nadu as a beginning.
Can we in fact go back to the Tamil Nadu slide while we're talking about Tamil Nadu, and we'll come to Karnataka in a moment. Yeah, Pavan, go ahead. Complete your point.
So, in my view, the BJP has not accepted that Tamil Nadu is essentially a DMK, Anna DMK's monopoly. It has gone in with a dynamic leader, no doubt. Annamalai is a fighter, and it's not, for me. It's not important whether the BJP gets 1, 2, or 3 seats. For me, what is important is that their level of support in Tamil Nadu will be in double digits, which is a first for the BJP in our electoral history.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. And Kartikeya, I'm actually going to ask you to pull out the vote share of the projected vote share, I should say, because Shrikant Karunesh, just a brief comment from you, and then I'll open it up. When I was interviewing Mr. Annamalai, the BJP chief in Tamil Nadu, and I asked him, how many seats do you aim for? And he said, for me, the seats is not critical. I want the BJP to get to 20% vote share. He actually set the target by vote share, not by seats. How close do you think you will be in the end? Because exit polls are not results to that goal. We need to unmute Mr. Karunesh.
When Pan India we set a target for 400 par. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please, sir. Go
Can
ahead.
you hear
Yeah.
me? Yeah. Yeah, 400 par. In Tamil Nadu, we set a target for 20% plus votes. So we worked for it. Irrespective of the seats winning, no, we targeted that we should get majority of the vote share so that will have a larger impact for us in the forthcoming 26 election. That was our president's target, and we were very seriously working on it. And end of the day, why I feel that will be a great success, why I feel that we will outpower the 20% vote share, because in Ambasamdaram, in the last meeting attended by our Honorable Prime Minister, suddenly he said on the mic, Ab ki bar. So Tamil Nadu, nobody knows Hindi, and nobody was understanding what he is telling. So he is expecting people to respond as he is doing it in North. Nobody knows what to respond in Hindi. So on the mic, open mic, being a translator, I shouted 400 par. So immediately, second time also I was telling, people have understood. First time in Tamil Nadu where Hindi is not accepted, a village, remote village in Tamil Nadu, all the village people were responding 400 par. And Modi ji got so encouraged. Why I am telling this?
Yeah.
This is the change in scenario. See, Hindi had a very, very, very larger impact in our politics. It is the
Yeah.
language-based politics which was prevailing in Tamil. So now
Yeah.
Modi ji is accepted. There is no hate for any language. And Annamalai ji has created a beautiful trend because he has never let down the people, because on every single issue he was fighting, and he made people to believe that we are the opposition party.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is the success range, and we will.
Okay. Okay, Kartikeya is informing me that at least according to one of the major exit polls, Access by India, the vote share projected for the BJP in Tamil Nadu is about 14%. Pavan, you were wanting to briefly come in, and then I really do have to open this up for the others. Pavan
Very
Verma, can we?
quickly,
Yeah, yeah,
20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just to say that the gains that the BJP has made now and the potential to capitalize on them in the future is for the BJP to squander. If they are aggressive on their Hindi agenda, if they begin to think that the whole of Tamil Nadu is against Sanatan Dharma and increase that divide, they will very soon lose their support which they have built up in Tamil.
Okay, let's open this up, but let's actually move to Karnataka, where we were mentioning Tamil Nadu. You're seeing the numbers on your screen. Two of the major exit polls talking about the BJP opening its account in terms of seats. But what's even more critical is that the BJP projectedly could be, it's a little less than the 20% it had aimed for. 14% is the projected vote share for the BJP in Tamil Nadu. Now we're moving on to Karnataka. Now this is a very, very critical state. This state is a state where the India Alliance really had hoped to make gains. Remember, the Congress just formed the government there in the state of Karnataka in the assembly elections. We need to go to Karnataka, please. That's Kerala on your screen. We need to go to Karnataka. As we wait for the numbers to come up, I just want a brief comment from everybody else on what it's looking like right now for Modi's Mission South. Tripurdaman Singh, quick comment from you.
I mean, this is incredibly revealing. It's incredibly revealing mainly for me because Prime Minister Modi has managed to transcend what has till now been a huge barrier for North Indian politicians, and that is the linguistic barrier, which I think the previous speaker was mentioning. And to me, it's incredibly surprising that the BJP is both in double digits in Tamil Nadu, and it's also very revealing for the future because it's 100%. What it looks like is that it's claiming the opposition space in a very methodical manner. And to me, this is a sort of real testament to the kind of groundwork and to the hard graft that the party has been putting in, which is very rare. I mean, this is very much an indictment of the opposition, that despite having a weak ADMK in Tamil Nadu, it's still allowing the opposition space to be colonized by the BJP, and that is something that requires a lot of introspection on the Congress and DMK's part.
Yeah. Kartikeya, briefly, I need to go to Matthew Anthony of the
Barkha,
Congress.
sorry, there's a big number revealed by C voter. Odisha,
Yeah.
BJD has been routed, it seems.
Okay,
BJP
we need to bring that up quickly, guys. Let's bring that up
BJP
quickly. Hmm.
BJP 17 to 19 seats, BJD 1 to 3 seats, and
Hmm.
India Alliance 0 to 2 seats. Projections as per C voter. And the other
Right.
thing I'd add for Karnataka is that if you look at the NDA numbers, this graphic again is probably not the most accurate. NDA Karnataka is 22 to 26 roughly, and
Yeah.
Congress would be 3 to 6. And that I think is the biggest disappointment for the Congress so far, if these
Hmm.
numbers are to be believed.
Hmm.
Because for the Congress to make any reasonable gains or the India Alliance to make any reasonable dent to the BJP, which anyway is seen to be gaining in states like BJD, and as per one source in Bengal also, is pipping the Trinamool Congress. Um, Essentially, the Congress had to get into double digits in Karnataka. But that, because it's not happening, I think is very bad news for the Congress and the India Alliance.
Okay, we're getting that big breaking news development from at least one of the exit polls on Odisha, and we'll come to Odisha, but let's just try and remain focused state-wise. Otherwise, my head is going to start spinning. So, in Karnataka, we are seeing the BJP holding on to its Lok Sabha performance and opening new ground in states like Tamil Nadu, even in Kerala. We'll come to that in a moment. Matthew Anthony, as a Congress leader, do you believe these exit polls? Mr. Kharge has already declared that the exit polls are fixed. He's given a number of his own. That seems to be some internal exit poll. How do you react to the numbers so far?
Barkha, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. And as said, ballot is the bullet. So let's wait for the 4th of June to really know what exactly the people have voted for. We actually don't believe in this exit poll numbers for various reasons, which has been uh, explained to you by the party. That is, we have concerns on the biasness of the exit polls, as well as a couple of things on the sample sizes, the methodology, the fund shortage to do a large extensive survey. Let's not get into the technical part of it. I'll address a little bit on the south part of it, which is I would really like the BJP person to tell in Tamil Nadu that Tamilians are accepting Hindi from the Prime Minister. That will do the job for us. Point blank, if they want to kind of say that Tamil Nadu is accepting Hindi, we actually then need not have to campaign. We win the elections point blank on that one. The second thing is, in the whole of the south, from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, it's a sweep for the Congress Party and the India Alliance. And our concern is not about BJP winning. Our concern is about bringing down their vote share in those states. That's exactly what we are going to look forward on the 4th of June. What will be the vote share percentage of BJP coming down from the previous time?
Okay.
Because a lot of people were speaking volumes about the Prime Minister's hard work for the South. But it's not surprising that a lot of them have ignored the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the two Bharat Jodo Yatras, where one
So
single politician crisscrossed the country.
are you effectively
Crisscross the
saying that
country, yes.
I hear you on Rahul Gandhi, but are you effectively saying you don't believe the numbers that are coming out of the exit polls?
We don't believe the numbers coming out in the exit polls because especially in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, as well as in the state of Maharashtra, we are going to see a good swing for the India Alliance and the Congress Party, and
Okay.
as well as in Telangana
Okay.
also.
I want to bring in Nasser Salim and everybody else to respond as well. But Kartikeya, the Odisha breaking news that you were talking about is on your screen. If you just want to take us through the main points. Sorry, guys, we're going to have to be hopping between states because that's the nature of elections and the numbers come in as and when. Do go ahead,
So
Kartikeya.
first of all, Access My India is not saying 000. They haven't revealed the numbers. So I would say that we should use dashes instead of the zeros.
Okay.
Um, so, Barkha, this was expected. Like a lot of people were saying that Odisha would see gains for the BJP. I think in the interview you did with Prashant Kishore also, he mentioned Odisha as a kind of state where the BJP might gain. So, um, if you see these numbers, this shows that the BJP now stands in a very strong position to be the number one party in Odisha, at least in the Lok Sabha. It's a very different matter when we look at the assembly election count, which I don't think a lot of exit polls are still reporting. So once that comes out, it could very well be that there's split voting in the sense that the
Like
BJP might.
Karnataka, where the
But
state
this
voted.
is
Yeah.
even more startling because these elections were held simultaneously. Karnataka at least happened last year, the assembly
Yeah.
election. But
Yeah.
these elections were held, which means the voter, if that happens, went to the ballot box, pressed the conch for the assembly election, and pressed the lotus for the Lok Sabha election. That will be a very telling sort of development in Odisha. These are huge leads, right, Barkha? I mean, BJP was last time 8 and BJD was 12. And we thought that, BJP could probably go from 8 to 12. But this seems like a rout if you go by the C voter numbers.
Yeah,
But
but
basically, BJD and Congress are vying for the second spot. Who would have thought?
yeah. Let me bring in Pavan. So we've looked at 3 states, right? We were planning to go through the southern states first, and then this Odisha news came in, so we thought we must look at it. And then I'll come to Nasser Salim. You just heard the Congress spokesperson saying we don't believe these numbers. And of course, there's a health warning. Exit polls are not the final numbers, but the opposition has been talking about prefixed exit polls. They have a number of their own. I think Matthew, the number was 295 or 297, 295. That was Mr. Kharge's number for the India bloc. Pavan, are you worried, given the statements that are coming from the opposition, that when the results come in, if they do mirror the election, the exit polls, that we might see the beginnings of some election denialism?
No, I'm afraid. You see, what is to be gained by fixing exit? You have channels which are more sympathetic to the BJP, so they may inflate the numbers slightly. But no voting is taking place now to influence the vote. And 2 days later, we are going to see the results actually come out. The exit polls I see not as the gospel truth, but as an indicator of a certain possible trend. And if we take that as a basis, then, for instance, what you were talking about, Odisha, let me make a small comment.
Yeah.
Odisha, I don't believe the numbers of the BJP will go up to 1920. I mean, the BJD will be reduced to 3. Yes, it can be between 12 and 14. So there are gains. The essential point is that the gains that the BJP is making, even marginally in the south, could compensate to some extent for the losses it could anticipate in the north and west, which is why the overall picture will not change dramatically or in favor of the BJP.
In Odisha, or do you mean nationally?
No, nationally. In Odisha, for the first time, you will have the BJP possibly with more seats in the Lok Sabha than the BJD. Now, it's not happened before. Now, the assembly elections may well be different, but it's also possible that they may be closer. And then we are all aware of the BJP's infinite ability to influence legislators to move from one side to the other. So, if it's not a very clear-cut victory, who knows what will happen in Odisha? But if it is, the people of Odisha are saying in the state, we are happy with Naveen Patnaik. At the center, we would like the Prime Minister to be there. And this time that emotion is more emphatic.
So it's important to actually wait for the assembly exit polls as well. I think that's a point well taken. Nasser Salim, I want to actually go through the southern states one by one, but so far the news is not, it's good news for the NDA and not such good news for the India Alliance, though the India Alliance is holding on in Tamil Nadu. The DMK Congress Alliance is. In Karnataka, where the India Alliance had great hopes, the exit polls are not suggesting that the assembly election success is going to yield any kind of similar success in the Lok Sabha. Your thoughts, Mr. Salim?
Namaskar and good evening, Barkha. Thank you very much to be back on your show. Look, there are 2-3 things I want to tell you here. I heard all my fellow panelists, and I'm of the opinion that, these exit polls, while they give you an indication, but you see, this time around, the voters have been very, very silent, Barkha. I have been traveling, and I can tell you more so with North India, and especially with Uttar Pradesh. I must tell you, they've obviously conducted certain questionnaires, which, on a certain sample size, but this time the voter has been very silent, and the undercurrent has been that of price rise, unemployment, many other issues, which have been, emanating when you talk to your voters in detail. Now, I can tell you, when I went to a few constituencies, parliamentary assemblies, constituencies in Uttar Pradesh, when I was canvassing, when I initially sat with some of them, they said, "Bhai sahab, sab kuch theek hai." But when you start probing in, you realize the gospel truth. And I must tell you, while of course these exit polls give you an indication, I agree completely. But I think the reality is far different. Barkha, I can assure you and tell you that in Uttar Pradesh specifically, the way the trend emerged from the first three phases from western Uttar Pradesh now to eastern UP, the atmosphere is completely different.
Okay.
And I must tell you, also I'm trying to get information regarding some of the polls for as far as UP is concerned. Then there is a massive gain, by the way, for the India Alliance in
We'll
UP.
come to UP. We're waiting for those numbers, but we've got staggeringly dramatic numbers on our screen from West Bengal, only from one exit poll so far. And before Kartikeya takes us through Bengal, let's just stay on those Bengal numbers. Pavan, this will interest you, having been a former member of the Trinamool Congress at one stage in your many splendid life. Tripu, you had a larger point to make, and then we'll get into Bengal. Tripu Daman?
Yes, I quickly wanted to come in on what what the numbers in Odisha might suggest.
Yeah.
And for me, there is, regardless of what the exact number is, I think it heralds a profound crisis for single leader for a party like the BJD, which is a single leader without any formal institutional mechanisms, without a clear-cut plan of succession. And I think this is a trend that's only going to be exacerbated. What you're seeing with the BJD is going to probably be applicable as time passes on to many other single parties as well. And this is something that this election is going to illustrate in very stark fashion.
That's a very, very interesting point, and some might imply
I
it
think,
even to
yeah, I mean, you can,
West Bengal.
yeah, and
even
especially
Bihar-
with
Bihar-
in Odisha,
Bihar is a
especially
very
with a leader like Naveen Patnaik, who you can visibly see in decline.
Yeah. Okay. I do have to cut it quickly on the West Bengal slide, and I'm sure Pavan and Shrikant and Matthew and everybody will want to respond to that. It's one poll right now. We're waiting for other polls to weigh in on Bengal. But this is a staggering set of numbers. Kartikeya, quickly, if you want to take us
First
through
of all,
Bengal.
let me just add, this is a brilliant point that was just made before me. I think BJD plus even JDU, for instance, right now, we don't know what's going to happen to the JDU after Nitish Kumarji. So I think that's a very important point. I think in both these states, the BJP has been eyeing that vacuum, that once these leaders sort of pass on the baton, who would occupy that space? We just don't know. I think Barkha, we always knew Bengal was very close. Um, and even right now, if you look at the upper end of the TMC and the lower end of the BJP, it's 17 to 23, which is a swap. But if you look at the extremes, the lower end of the TMC and the upper end of the BJP, that's 13 to 27. That basically means that BJP will be the number one party in the Lok Sabha from West Bengal. And that will be huge, which basically means that the BJP has somehow been able to retain large parts of its rural vote base in North Bengal, Southwest, and Southeast Bengal, but has also made inroads into the Trinamool's bastions of Southern Bengal.
Yeah.
That I think for me is the big story.
So the Prime Minister, Pavan, and I'm sure Shrikant will want to respond as a BJP leader to what's happening in Bengal. The Prime Minister, in an interview to ANI, actually said on record that he believed that Bengal would be their most significant performance. If the ADPC voter numbers hold, and we're waiting for other pollsters
By the way,
to weigh
Barkha,
in.
can I just add something? I think,
Yeah.
again, this should be 14 to 20 for India, because 1 to 3 seats seem to be going to the left and the Congress alliance. So others is not zero. It should be 14 to 20 for the India alliance, and it should be 13 to 17 for Trinamool Congress.
All right, but the larger message out of Bengal, if the numbers hold, still remains that Mamta will lose her grip. Pavan. Pavan, first comments from you, and then we'll take comments from the rest of the panel.
First, a quick comment about single leader parties and succession plan. I think the BJP should also be worried about. There is no party. There is only a leader. Even the manifesto is called Modi Ji Ki Guarantee. So I think that should worry the BJP as well, who comment on single parties.
I think Tripu's wanting to interject there. Tripu, you want to interject there? Yeah.
Yes, and I'm just saying that it's not just succession planning. It's also the fact that the parties lack any sort of institutional mechanisms beyond having a court structure around a single leader, and that is a bigger problem for these parties than for the BJP. Because whatever one might say about the BJP and its present leadership, there is still there are still some institutional mechanisms in place.
There I agree. I agree with that. And I was being partly facetious, but I think it's a problem
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
BJP
It
today.
very much will be, yes, going forward.
Yes. Secondly, as far as West Bengal is
Yeah.
concerned,
Can we move back to
I,
the West
I
Bengal slide, please? Yes. Go
very
ahead, Pavan.
quickly,
Yeah.
very quickly, I don't believe the numbers will be what the sea voter is saying. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a pundit. I'm not a psychologist. But yes, I see gains for the BJP. I see gains for the BJP from 18 to possibly 22, 21. You cannot predict an exact number. But the very fact that there is a gain
Yeah.
and there is a diminishing of votes of the TMs is, I think, a historical milestone for the BJP once again in a state where its presence was till recently negligible. So
Yeah.
this time, the first surprise came in 18, then the setback came in, came with the 18 seats in 2019, then the setback in the assembly elections. But now the BJP has worked consistently to also build a cadre on the ground to respond to the very strong TMC cadre on the ground. So therefore, and Mamta is in her third term anti-incumbency,
Yeah.
which affects all parties and leaders and will eventually affect the BJP also. So
Yeah.
I think that there will be the BJP will do better. Whether it will do as much better as what the voter is saying, I doubt.
That's why we should wait for some other polls to also bring in their perspective. But Shrikant Karunesh, I remember Arun Jaitley, when he was alive, used to say often to journalists that there was a cultural Hindu in Bengal who was not a political Hindu. And the BJP's sort of strategy has been to, in a way, convert the cultural Hindu into a political Hindu, if these numbers are correct. And there are many ifs, many slips between the cup and the lip. Quick response, Mr. Karunesh?
Yeah, actually, two things I want to emphasize. One is to reply to Mr. Matthew G, because he said he doesn't believe in the exit poll, and we also don't believe because we expect some more bigger number than this in South. Uh, for two reasons. For two reasons, because in South India we have a intention all over South India for Parliament election. Generally, it's voted for the nationalistic party, and for all assembly elections, it's what people choose the regional parties. Generally, this reflection is there, except this 14 and 19 election. Because that time, that's because of the failure of the Congress. Because when BJP had taken place, we had a policy of establishing Congress Mukta Bharat, and Modi ji was working for it. And that has quite successfully, I think he has completed his mission with 24 elections, because Congress has been confined to a regional party. In every
Hmm.
region, wherever they are making few seats, they are in alliance with some local parties and gaining few seats. It's not because of Congress they are winning votes. It's because of the regional parties they are collecting votes and seats. That is the realistic thing happening now. Regional parties are gaining now. And one more thing, brother Anthony ji was asking me about
Hmm.
linguistic thing, and I can
Yes.
combine West Bengal and answer for that. It is only the two states before 50 years anti-Hindi agitation happened. People were politicizing language as one of the electoral issues. And these two states have similar ideology, similar food, similar culture. West Bengal and similar language, literature, command over their pride over their territory. We call Tamil Nadu as Tamil country, Tamil's country. Tamil Nadu matlab, if you tell it
Hmm.
in English, it's Tamil country. And West Bengal also they have Bengal. It's a separate kingdom they feel. So one of the ministers, DMK ministers, recently 6 months before in Tamil Nadu asked, "Where is India? Have you ever seen India? Are we in India? We know only Tamil Nadu." One of the sitting minister in Tamil Nadu was speaking like that. So that is the divisive policy they were having. What is the reply for Matthew G? Is yes, people have understood this divisive policy, the linguistic issues, all those things. Now they have positive issues to welcome Modi ji. The hatred what he was having in 14 and 19 is not there now. People
Okay.
have accepted him.
Shrikant Karunesh, Tamil Nadu we've spoken about, but we need to turn our attention to Kerala, which is another state I'm sure all of you have comments on. This is a state which saw a high-profile battle in Thiruvananthapuram between Shashi Tharoor and Rajiv Chandrasekhar, but that's not the beginning and end of the Kerala story. According to the exit polls, and at least three of the exit polls are talking about the BJP getting anywhere between 1 to 3 seats in Kerala. I just want to underline this because the South is really turning out to be a big story that is emerging, at least from the exit polls. Pavan, since we're going to lose you in a couple of minutes, let me get a quick response from you on Kerala. Also, I'd like to look at the All India picture as of now, and then we'll get responses from everybody else. Pavan?
Very quickly, I think Kerala, the BJP could open its account, but Kerala is essentially a UDF sweep. And the real signal, the real warning is for the left party alliance. To have a rout, especially with a fairly respected chief minister till recently, Mr. Pinari Vijayan, is a very, because now literally the left parties are decimated across the country. Kerala was their last bastion, as it were.
Yes.
That is the real message out of Kerala. On the overall picture,
It's on your
let me say,
screen, but it's still quite divergent, and I'll tell you why. Different pollsters are looking at different states. Not everybody's following the same order of states. So we're going to have to wait a while for the overall picture, but we have some sense of the patterns emerging. Pavan, go ahead.
yes, very quickly I'll sum it up. Firstly, this appears to be an election where the BJP and NDA will win fairly comfortably, in my view.
Yeah.
B, it is not necessarily for that reason a positive vote for the BJP, except for one or two factors. One, the continued overarching popularity of the Prime Minister himself, even now. Two, some amount of genuine impact of welfareism, especially ration, and its delivery on the women voters, which makes a difference. And the third factor is, if not Modi, who? These are the factors in favor of the BJP. But it's a default vote because the opposition did not gear up to put up a proper fight on very legitimate grievances like unemployment, price rise, inequality, and rural distress. If the opposition had formed a narrative and a cohesive pan-Indian plan with an organizational core to it and built a counter narrative, this election could have been different. But
Pavan, your
the
friend,
opposition,
your friend Prashant Kishore said in that interview to me that it's Modi will win, but it's like a century with 6 dropped catches. It's poor fielding by the opposition.
yeah, I think it was a good analogy because if you see the trajectory of the opposition, I mean, they start in 2023 and do almost nothing after that. Nothing in terms of a common minimum program, in terms of a core group on seat selection, in terms of actually working out a strategy, setting up a secretariat. So when you are fighting a poll machine like the BJP, this kind of drifting opposition unity with an attractive name called India will not do. And this time they had a chance if they began 5 years ago, because there are very legitimate grievances on the ground. And therefore, I call it largely, for even though the BJP will win, largely a default.
Okay, Pavan, I know you have to go, so stay as long as you can. But thank you for your comments. Let's go back to this state-wise look at the numbers, and we haven't actually gone through all of the southern states. I wanted to also take a look at Telangana, where there's a neck-and-neck battle with gains for the BJP, and Andhra Pradesh, where there's a projected complete sweep for the NDA on the back of that alliance between the BJP, Chandrababu Naidu, and of course the Jan Sena of Pavan Kalyan. So can we please switch to those numbers? In the meantime, I'll get Matthew and Nasser Salim to come in with their comments. Matthew Anthony, please go ahead.
Barkha, I have to refuse a lot of things which has been stated by Pavan
Sure.
because You have seen the manifesto promises. We have
Mhm.
addressed point blank the unemployment issue, the price rise issues, as well as the social inequality issue of the social caste census survey, which we will put across as soon as we assume power come 4th June. So we have addressed the issues. And as Nasser said earlier, the voters have been silent tremendously across the country, because I've been campaigning in the entire Northeast as well as in the state of Maharashtra during the election campaign. And the voters were completely miffed with the Modi government for essentially on the unemployment issue, the price rise issue, as well as the polarization, the religious polarization which is happening. However, the fear factor made them simply remain silent without expressing their points. So that is one of the primary reasons why we doubt the numbers of the exit polls, because we don't think that the people have disclosed their mind. So that's why we are saying that on the 4th of June, we will see whether the ballot has become a bullet for a change in
Okay.
power. If at all you
Okay.
look at the analogy of the Odisha government and the Bengal government, where you see a little bit of an anti-incumbency against the ruling parties, the same anti-incumbency wave was silently there across the country against the two successive terms of Modi without fulfilling any of the promises made by them, and then coming back on another set of promises and extending the time period of delivering any of their promises. So this is the reason why we say that no, we are
Okay.
very firm that the Modi government is not going to come back and the India
So, so,
Alliance is
so,
going
so,
to make a
so
comeback.
you effectively don't believe any of these exit polls. In the meantime, can I request the producers to keep changing the slides so that we can start looking at more states? We've been on Karnataka now for a few minutes. Nasser Salim, do come in with your comments, and then I want to start moving to other states.
Barkha, I disagree with Pavanji. You know, I wish he was here on the show, but
Yeah.
wholeheartedly disagree with him, and I'll tell you why. You see, the apart from the fact that we've said this, that there were a lot of issues on the ground which today the voter is not talking about openly because they're scared. There is a certain machinery that is being used to ensure that they don't open their mouths, and therefore we strongly feel that these exit polls may not give you the true and the clear picture. Number one. Number two, I think to say that the opposition was late and to not align with the voters goals and objectives, I think is sad to even to say that. I'll tell you why, Barkha. When you look at from all the way from north to down south, I think every regional party and the Congress has ensured that they do their best in terms of compromise. Now, I'll give you a small perspective as far as UP is concerned. I'll come back to UP again because we're waiting for UP's numbers, Barkha. But look, the our Sangathan in the Samajwadi Party continues to be very, very strong. And we ensured that we got all the allies put together and delivered on the ground in terms of our core team that went out to canvass and seek votes. And the Congress was a part to it. They played their part effectively. There was a common minimum program, I must tell you. The common minimum program was that we did have a common manifesto which said almost three, four things together, which was about the caste census. We said जिसकी जिसकी जितनी हिस्सेदारी है उतनी भागीदारी होगी. That's what we
Gee.
said.
So let's
We've
wait.
said repeatedly. We
Let's
repeatedly
that's
spoke about MSP and its legal guarantee, which even the Congress kept continuing to say that. We
yeah.
also spoke about price rise and unemployment. So,
Yeah.
all these issues have been addressed and they have gone down to the voter very well, I
I,
must tell you,
I,
Barkha.
I don't shoot the messenger. I am only putting on screen what we are getting from the different polling agencies. Matthew, just give me a second. Look at the Telangana numbers. Just let's look at the Telangana numbers. I've been wanting to look at these numbers. It's a neck and neck battle between really actually the BJP and the Congress. And again, this was a state which the Congress just won in the assembly elections. So one of the things to think about for the Congress, if this is the way it goes, and the BJP is able to increase from its 4 seats last time to about 7 or 9, is why it's not able to replicate its successes. Why are people seeing it more as a state option than a national option if these numbers hold? Before Kartik, you come with the latest takeaways. Once again, Matthew, Shrikant, and Tripu, if you have quick comments on Telangana, look at the Telangana numbers, neck and neck. Some modest gains projected for the BJP. Mr.
Uh,
Karunesh?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Karunesh.
Actually, the results from the all over South, no, it is really encouraging for us, because when we were working strategies, no, we were working on a different formula, because we were looking North and West as our strong area, and South and East as to be performed area. We need to work a lot. That's how we were working last five full years, and in North and East. And I'm very happy that we are penetrating in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and we are performing in Karnataka and Andhra, and we are positioned in North and West. No, it is telling us we are seeing this election not as ballots as bullets. We are seeing as lotus petals everywhere.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is the positive note we are getting from the exit polls.
Okay. Lotus petals everywhere. Tripurdaman Singh?
Telangana is justifying it.
No, I think
Telangana
Telangana.
is, yeah. Yeah.
No, I think
Go ahead.
Telangana is another example of single leader parties facing this crisis of the lack of an institution, a lack of party machinery beyond a single leader and their court. And I think this is just another big illustration, as I was mentioning in the case of Odisha. It's something that I think people will need to ponder.
Okay, Karthik, the All India picture so far, and once again, I do have to give the health warning that every polling agency is following a different order of states. So if you're wondering about the divergence, not every agency is looking at states in the order in which we are looking at them. Karthik, quick takeaways at this point.
So I think Barkha NDA is comfortably ahead. I think the agencies that I follow and even See Voter, which I'm affiliated with, I would say that the NDA right now is standing at 2x the India numbers, more or less.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Um, my takeaways would be that I think the BJP has been. Oh, okay. So my takeaways would be the following: that the BJP has been able to make some modest gains in the south, while holding on to its core areas like Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. Uh, in two of the 4 5 swing states that I had mentioned in my analysis earlier, the BJP seems to have either stemmed the rout or it has gained, actually, in Bengal and Karnataka, for instance. The third is that the India Alliance seems to be making modest gains in eastern states like Bihar and Jharkhand, but seems to be losing in Bengal. Congress would be very disappointed by Karnataka, but it will be kind of sort of heartened by its performance in Rajasthan and Haryana. So these modest gains in Rajasthan and Haryana are similar to the gains being made by the BJP in states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana. But Telangana, I think if the Congress,
Although I'll interrupt there because it's not quite apples to oranges there, because the BJP for the southern states, many of them outside of Karnataka, are greenfield projects for the BJP, and states like Rajasthan and Haryana are not greenfield projects for the Congress. So it's not really a comparable. It's not really a comparable parallel.
Except that the BJP has been sweeping Rajasthan for 10 years now, 25-0. And I agree with you that the ease with which the Congress should convert seats in Rajasthan is much more than the ease with which the BJP should be in a position to convert seats in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. I'm just talking numerically, not qualitatively. Qualitatively, I agree with you. I think the biggest disappointments for the Congress right now would be Karnataka and then to some extent Telangana if they don't cross the double-digit mark. And if the Chanakya numbers which were on your screen are something to go by, it seems that the BJP is bettering the Congress. One polling agency saying that it's neck and neck, the other one saying that the BJP seems to be doing better than the Congress. I think that would be a huge loss of face for the sitting chief minister in Telangana as well as the Congress. So I think that's broadly the trend. But I think into some more numbers have come in. Barkha, Jammu Kashmir.
We've got Bihar on our screen.
Yeah, so Bihar, I think, so this is BJP versus RJD, not the full picture. The full picture is that there is 7-10 for the India Alliance and the rest going to the NDA Alliance. And I think if the India Alliance can enter double-digit territory, that will be a good performance given that Nitish Kumarji switched right on the eve of the election. But Barkha, Jammu and Kashmir, where you were recently, those numbers have been released by Access just now. And it's very interesting. It seems like it's 4-2 for the India Alliance if you combine Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. Congress seems to be doing well in Ladakh. and National Conference and the alliance pulling ahead in Jammu and Kashmir. So it seems to be 4-2 to the India alliance.
But, but their competitors are both part of the India alliance. Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah both in competition, but are both part of the India alliance. So it's one of those contradictions like Punjab. But let's just turn our attention. I don't know which side is coming up next, but let's turn our attention to Rajasthan. And I'm sure, Matthew, you had something to say. Do go ahead. Okay, that's the All India picture. As of now, we've not even gone through maybe 7 or 8 states, but as of now, the All India picture suggests a very comfortable romp home for the BJP and for the Prime Minister, who will be equaling Jawaharlal Nehru's record, making history there. I'll get Tripu to talk a little bit about the historical context. But Matthew Anthony, I know you don't believe these numbers, so do go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, Barkha, I've been seeing you running the election commentary from my college election days. So, can you tell me the reason when a government is having an issue with price rise, unemployment at such higher levels? Do you see a real reason why the people should then come back and vote for them again and again? I'm asking you because I don't know it. You know it better because you've been covering elections, for years.
Honestly, the mind of the Indian voter is never a mind I have assumed to have an X-ray vision of. But if I had to hazard a guess, perhaps the fact that the opposition is able to compete more effectively at state level, but not at the national level, that seems to be the pattern emerging, suggests that the voter has a different understanding of a local election and a different understanding of a national election, and the opposition's attempt to localize this election hasn't succeeded to the degree that they were believing it would. I'm not the analyst.
I kind of disagree. I respect your views, but I disagree with you because there is an anti-incumbency against.
I'm just trying to make sense of the numbers.
Central government. Yes, I kind of see the numbers, but the reason why we disagree with the numbers is we have issues for the real people with respect to unemployment, price rise, which affects their household, not anything else of a national party's political narrative or anything of that sort. And when compared to that, no, there is no reason for the people to come back and vote for them back to power, whatever be the narrative. Because your savings are affected, your life, your life for the future is affected, the income to the family is affected, everything is affected. So what is the compelling need for the people to come back and vote for them again to continue the suffering? I don't think so. That is the reason why we say.
I can't answer that. I can't answer that. We have to.
So that's the reason why we say that we don't believe in these numbers.
Everyone wants to comment. Shrikant first, then Nasser, then Tripu. Yes, Shrikant Karunesh.
Who has been watching you from his college days doesn't need answer for this. He must have been well educated in politics by this time because he's asking one simple question: why they are voting for BJP? Because had Congress had thought about unemployment and inequality when they were ruling, no, they would have not lost any election. When they were ruling,
Barkha, I will have to debate. I will have to debate.
Hold on.
Politics. And now, even after becoming the opposition party, they were not opposition. They had only 44. They were not even recognized as an opposition party. At least they should have learned lesson down by that time, 2014. Initially, when BJP was not recording so much of victories in say first 1.5 years, they didn't do anything. They were sleeping very, very coolly. And until last 10 years, no public forum they have come out and they have fought for it. Never you have seen Congress fighting for public. All of a sudden, last 3 months, they are telling we are going to win 250, 290. Who's going to believe them? So that is the reason. They have dynasty politics and corruption behind them. And here, Modi ji has proved undoubtedly that we are here for common man, and things have reached their bank account without giving any percentage of losses. It has gone, full amount has reached.
Okay, we have heard the full gamut of perspectives from Pavan Verma calling this a default vote, to the BJP calling it a kind of Modi factor driven vote, to Matthew Anthony simply not believing these numbers. We have Bihar on our screen. Kartik, a quick comment on Bihar, the NDA India numbers, and then Nasser Salim, and then Tripurdaman Singh. Kartik, quickly.
So this is a good performance by the RJD, I would say, Barkha, because out of the 7 to 10 seats for India, 6 to 7 seem to be coming for the RJD. This is as per the Axis numbers. Given that RJD was at 0 seats, I think it's a good performance. But again, one of the other swing states which the BJP has seemed to keep in check, because the BJP's losses in this state are also minimal. If I'm not wrong, this is 12 to 14 for the BJP. So essentially BJP losing 3 to 4 seats. But more losses probably being clocked by the likes of the JDU. And yet, I think this is something that would not worry the NDA so much, given the larger scheme of things.
Yeah, the point is that the allies, other than Andhra Pradesh, and we hope to have that slide very soon, other than Andhra Pradesh, I actually can't think of a state where the allies have actually come through for the BJP. Nitish Kumar, I can say from my reporting trip to Bihar, was definitely seen as the weak link, even by those who were voting for the Prime Minister. Nasser Salim, go ahead.
No, Barkha, I just have one quick point again to make, and I heard everyone. You see,
Yeah.
Barkha, no one's talking about the lower vote percentage in this election. And I must bring to that point, a very, something which is eminent, is evident. Now, the thing is that, across, and this is across the nation, the voting percentage patterns have fallen because they are fed up of this government, is our assumption. And we are very, very convinced about this theory that they don't want to come out, they didn't want to come out and vote because they have taken, the current dispensation has taken over all possible channels of communication. All the media is sold out. There are very few people who come out and show the truth. You're amongst them, Barkha. We respect you for that. And today the scenario is that you're having these exit polls which are giving you a very different view. The reality on the ground is people haven't come out to vote because they are fed up. There is a very high anti-incumbency. There are silent voters. The ground reality is reeking of the issues that we've been talking about repeatedly. And also, I must tell you, as far as Bihar is concerned, because we do follow Bihar politics as well, our belief is that the incumbent, I mean, the chief minister who's there, is now known to be somebody who is a turncoat. He's moved, I mean, he's dropped 9 governments in the past and take 9 oaths as chief minister. The public has very little faith left in him, and therefore we feel that the numbers will fairly pick up for the alliance in Bihar. The number that you're showing is definitely going to increase on the 4th of June for Bihar, I can tell you so.
Mhm.
And the main reason is that there is a class of people who have now realized that you cannot vote for somebody who's not dependent. If you keep changing your on the ground of being in power, continue to remain in power just because you wish to, and keep moving your chairs, playing musical chairs, is going to actually harm them. And that is the case
I,
that is
I, I,
evident today in Bihar.
I think that has been reflected certainly in the Bihar numbers, but we need to turn our attention to Maharashtra. But before that, we have Satyapal Jain with us, senior government law officer, as well as senior leader of the BJP. Namaskar, sir. Welcome to the program. Things looking quite swimmingly well for the NDA at this point. In fact, आपके आने पे वो एक slide आई है जहाँ पे थोड़ा टक्कर की लड़ाई है. Other than that, it's been mostly the BJP and the NDA either holding its own or opening new vistas. But Tripurdaman Singh, as we take last comments in this hour, the historical context of this moment, if the exit polls are correct and the results mirror them, then the Prime Minister is going to be back for a historic, and it is historic, 3rd consecutive term. And there is Nehru's record that's spoken about. I was wondering if you want to place your historian's hat on and just give us, if this does happen, what this moment might signify.
I think one of the things that it really, really would signify if this happens is the fact that here is someone who is striding like a colossus on the Indian imagination, whose own personal popularity and his own personal impress on the Indian mind is far in excess of anything that his party or that anyone before him has done. So it's something that will leave an imprint in Indian history that is going to last for a very, very long time. And by that I mean, it of course a lot depends on what he does in his 3rd term, but it's definitely a kind of critical juncture in history, right? What he's going to establish certain patterns, certain expectations, leave certain precedents, create certain conventions that are very much going to loom over his successors. So it's something that I think someone in his stature should really keep in mind, because whatever he does is not really going to be something that reflects solely on him or is going to be of relevance only to his own rule, but something that is really much going to create a template for those who succeed him to follow. And I think that is something that Nehru very much did. And if Prime Minister Modi continues in that vein, that's something that he is very much going to do as well. And it's something that very few prime ministers, and you saw this with Nehru as well, many of his decisions were taken without keeping in mind a fact like this. And it's something that I do hope very much, as a both as a historian and a commentator who writes on this, that it is very much something that he keeps in mind.
Okay, it is the end of the first hour of our exit poll programming. I am going to say thank you at this point to Tripurdaman Singh, to Matthew Anthony, to Shrikant Karunesh, and to Nasser Salim. We hope you'll all be back with us on counting day. It's been very interesting listening to you, very varied perspectives. I want to welcome to the program, as I said, Satyapal Jain of the BJP, Shashi, Vempathi, who's been, of course, the CEO of Prasar Bharati. Kartikeya Batra is with us and continues to be with us. If you have just joined us at the top of the hour, going by the exit polls, Prime Minister Modi is poised for a historic third term. The NDA is in a very comfortable position to form the government. And the net big picture is that the BJP is holding on to states like Karnataka while opening new accounts, new pockets of control in states like Telangana, as well as states like Odisha, even projected to open its accounts in states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That is the big picture at this hour. There have been modest gains for the India alliance in Rajasthan and Bihar. But if the Karnataka numbers hold, then it is going to be a huge disappointment to the India alliance, which was really hoping for a better performance there. I also see Akshay Marathe of the Aam Aadmi Party joining us, as well as Sandip Ghose, a political analyst. Welcome, everybody. We have a full house, so I think it's very important that we do all of the numbers as they stand right now again. Karthik, I'm going to hand it to you. We can just do a quick run through. Some of this will be repetitive for some parts of our audience, but I think for anyone joining in just now, it's very important to do the big picture. Go ahead.
So, Barkha, as I said sometime back, that it seems like at this point, as per the reliable exit polls, um, the NDA seems to be 2x the India numbers. More or less, swing states like Bengal, Bihar, and Karnataka. In fact, in Bengal, it's expanded. Maharashtra seems to be a nail biter, and I think numbers are still coming in from Maharashtra. But
Yeah.
I think in general, the biggest takeaway is BJP has made some inroads in the south, whereas the Congress has reclaimed some territory back in states like Haryana, Rajasthan, and made some gains. Then India Alliance has made some gains in Bihar and Jharkhand as per exit polls. This is again like an average. But the biggest disappointment for the Congress would be Karnataka and to some extent Telangana, where they seem to not be crossing the double-digit mark, which they should have, given how they won the assembly elections just a few months back. But at this point, we can say that, it seems like the NDA again, unless there is a big ulat fair, even in which case I think the NDA at least would cross the 272 mark. So I think that I think is more or less a conclusion that we can draw as per these exit polls.
Yes. So again, we have to explain to everybody two things. One, exit polls are not results. So that's the health warning. Two, the reason you see a divergence in some of the numbers is because uh, different polling agencies have different orders of looking at states, right? So we're still waiting, for example, for numbers to come in on Uttar Pradesh. Maharashtra, we have one polling agency that's given the numbers, but not the other. But look at Delhi. You can see Delhi at the top of your screen because I see Akshay here. In Delhi this time, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress had an alliance, at least per the exit polls right now. And Akshay, these will keep getting updated as more polling agencies give Delhi. We'll have to keep refreshing them. It's again a clean sweep for the BJP. In Himachal, it's advantage BJP. And as Kartikeya said, and if we can just rotate some of these slides, if you have just joined us, here's what it looks like right now. Modi's big mission south has yielded, per the exit polls, a degree of success. The BJP is holding on to Karnataka per the exit polls, where the Congress has not made any significant gains. It is opening projected to open its account in Kerala. It is projected to get between 1 and 3 seats in Tamil Nadu. There's an NDA sweep projected in Andhra Pradesh. It's a neck and neck battle in Telangana, where the BJP got 4 last time. It's projected to get at least about 3 more by all of the polling agencies. In Odisha, the BJP could possibly, we're waiting for more numbers to come in, but could possibly dislodge Naveen Patnaik, not in the assembly. We're waiting for those numbers, but certainly in the Lok Sabha. And Delhi, as of now, is projected to be a sweep for the NDA. Kartikeya, you have a quick update, and then I'll welcome also, just a minute, I want to welcome Dr. Shruti Kapila and Sunita Aaron to the program. Welcome. Kartikeya, it's over to you.
Barka, one addition that Maharashtra is, I think, now getting clearer because all agencies have reported numbers.
Mhm.
So I would say that it seems like, on average, the India alliance is making gains, handsome gains, because their baseline was low. But the NDA is still the dominant force. So if I do an average, right now, of all the polls that have come in, the average for NDA is 29, which is a drop of 8 seats from the 37. And when I say 37, I'm adding the factions that have been added to the BJP or the NDA since then. Now, that's a drop of 8 seats, but India alliance seems to be at 20 as per the poll of polls, and their tally from 2019 was 9. That's a swing of plus 11. But again, not as per expectations, because it's another state where the India Alliance would have wanted to do better than the NDA Alliance, but that again seems not to be happening as per the poll of polls.
But Karthik, so far, Maharashtra has brought the best news to the India alliance of all states. Would that be fair to say?
I would say even Haryana to some extent, because it's a close call in Haryana, 4 or 5 seats, but of course the number of seats is smaller, so maybe that's the point you're trying to make.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So let's
of the 4 or 5 swing states that I've been talking about, I think Maharashtra has shown the most promise for the India Alliance. That's for sure.
Okay, so let's just get comments from our panel now. Satyapal Jain, we'll start with you. The big picture is that Prime Minister Modi is poised per the exit polls to make a comfortable return to power, equaling Jawaharlal Nehru's record as a three-term prime minister if the results mirror the exit polls. In the southern states, we are seeing something very interesting happening. The polls projecting the BJP opening new ground in both Kerala and Tamil Nadu while holding on to Karnataka, the NDA projected to sweep Andhra Pradesh and gaining in Telangana. Odisha and Bengal could be the big ones. The East could be the big ones. We'll get to that in a moment. Mr. Jain, your first comments?
See, Barkaji, the exit poll results, I will say, are by and large on the expected lines. If you go through the stories covered by various journalists, maybe from this side or that side, they will think it last at least 8-10 days. By and large, they are on the expected lines. We did apprehend some setbacks in Maharashtra. We did apprehend some setbacks in Haryana and in some other states also. But two things are very clear. As you rightly said, that perhaps for the first time, the Bharatiya Janata Party will be really Bharatiya in Lok Sabha when we will have MPs from almost all the states, including Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Northeast. So it will be perhaps for the first time. I was a member of parliament in 96 when Mr. Vajpayee was the prime minister. I saw the results of 1977 also when the Janata Party came to power. At that time, we did not have any representation from South. When Mr. Vajpayee took over at that time also, we did not have very serious and a representation which could be worth mentioning. So for the first time, we are going to have it. Third thing which I want to say, that Mr. Modi has established that he is the leader who's the leader of the masses, people across the country. I will not say across the world because that is not the issue today. He has won the hearts of the people, maybe north, maybe south, maybe east, maybe west, and he is now the tallest leader in the entire Indian polity, and he is going to take over the prime minister for the third time. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru did take oath for 3 times. Mr. Vajpayee also took oath as prime minister 3 times, 96, 98, 99. But he is the, I think, after a very long time, going to be a prime minister who is going to take over the reins of the government of India for third time. And I must say one thing more, all said and done, India Alliance, all very mature people, I must say, very experienced people, but I can say with full confidence, with full sense of responsibility, they are fighting with Mr. Modi, but they have not understood Mr. Modi. Thank you.
Okay, that's an interesting thought, and we'll discuss that later in the program. They're fighting with Mr. Modi, but they do not understand Mr. Modi, implying, therefore, that they do not know how to fight Mr. Modi either. Akshay, I must get in a comment from you on not just Delhi, but as a member of the India Alliance. These are not heartening numbers. The only states that are bringing some cheer per the exit polls as of now to the India Alliance is Maharashtra, and some modest gains in Rajasthan and Bihar. nothing in Karnataka that would cause anyone in the opposition to smile. A sweep for the BJP in Chhattisgarh, a sweep for the BJP in Madhya Pradesh, a sweep for the BJP in Karnataka, a neck and neck battle in Telangana, a sweep for the NDA in Andhra Pradesh, a sweep projected for the BJP in Delhi. So really not looking very good for the India Alliance. Akshay Marathe.
But can I quickly take an opportunity to do something unconventional? I want to address your viewers directly, especially those who have voted for the India Alliance. Don't take exit polls seriously. These are not results. The last 5 election cycles have predicted a BJP victory, and out of those 5 election cycles, BJP has won 2 or 3 of them. So exit polls have historically, by and large, been in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and this is not a criticism of the science of exit polls. It just so happens that exit polls have been off the mark in the past. And so if you have to look at the global perspective on these kinds of surveys, I'm sure Kartikeya, who's studied in the US, knows that even US polls go wrong. And there are ways to track how wrong do they go, why do they go so wrong? And there are ways to account for that. So, for example, we should actually account for how wrong were these exit polls in their previous 5 years, and then use that data to find out, are they inflating the BJP's numbers? How much are they inflating the numbers by? I think that will give us a more accurate, correct picture of these exit polls. And this is just a request for analysts also to kind of include that analysis that these exit polls have been wrong in the past. Now coming to the...
I opened with the health warning that exit polls are not results. Also, very interestingly, Mr. Kharge today after an India Alliance meeting, obviously the India Alliance has had some exit poll of its own, because he had a very precise number. He said the India Alliance is, according to him, going to get 295 seats.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the different parties in the India Alliance brought their own internal assessments to this meeting. I know that Aam Aadmi Party shared our assessment from Punjab, Delhi, Haryana, and we shared our numbers. Tejasvi ji, Akhilesh ji shared their numbers. And the 295 figure has come from all of that aggregated data coming together. And that is what the India Alliance believes that we are going to get. Now, whether we are right or wrong, we can only wait until 4th of June. But I can tell you that in Punjab, there are some pollsters, I can name them. India Today, Access My India, is giving Aam Aadmi Party 0 to 2 seats. Okay, now that to me is a major giveaway about how wrong I think some of these polls are getting the mood on the ground. I'm not here to suggest that Aam Aadmi Party is the biggest party in the world and they will sweep all 13 seats of Punjab. But to show Aam Aadmi Party getting 0 to 2 seats and the BJP getting 4 seats is something that only can be laughed at. So I'm just trying to make a point, and let's wait for 4th of June. There is a lot of bluster and mahal building exercise, as I want to call it, that is going on. I think the media and the pollsters are doing their job. They are well within their rights, but even we are within the rights to reject that and wait for the 4th of June.
Okay. So you don't believe these numbers, in short?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Shashi, Vempathi, let's take it around the panel now. It's not just about Delhi. Nationally, the Prime Minister is clearly poised to make a victory if, and I'm saying if 4 times, if the exit polls are correct. Do go ahead with your impressions.
No, I think the exit polls.
I can't hear Shashi. Is it my audio or his cut? Shashi, we can't hear you. There's a kind of khad. Right? Shashi, we'll just ask you to reconnect so that we can hear you better. But in the meantime, let me get Dr. Shruti Kapila, not a fan of the Modi government. Are you disappointed with the exit polls?
No, I mean, who am I to be disappointed? I mean, it's not about being a fan or not a fan. I think every democracy needs a very good, robust opposition, most of all India, precisely because it is so diverse. So I think what is interesting, I'm halfway with the skepticism on the exit polls, what the previous spokesperson said, but I also don't think one should doubt them too much because, either, except that Indian pollsters, unlike say the American or the UK ones, are very non-transparent on the nature of their samples. So I'm not sure how much oversampling has happened, but even if I just take this, for what it is, I think, what I've been arguing that India is actually that there's a kind of China model in effect in India, which is to say that India is headed towards becoming a party state. And that's really, and with, if there is really a breakthrough in the South, as we are seeing there is a breakthrough, then I think we are in a very different era of politics. It is not politics as normal. And what do I mean by a party state? When you do not have a distinction between state, society, party, government, cadre. And that's a different kind of polity. So you could say that there was one party rule and one party state under the Congress, particularly under Nehru, but it
Hmm.
was not a cadre based party. And also there was actually a lot of work done by Nehru himself to foster an opposition. So that's just my overall take, that that if that this is not, you can't say, well, this is just a popular prime minister. This is a popular prime minister with a very particular agenda, and a very particular attitude towards power and authority. Both, I mean, quite apart from Indian nationalism and its greatness notwithstanding, it's the way a domestic polity is going to be redone, because one nation, one poll is on the manifesto, to say nothing of the UCC. So I think, and if the Indian populace is going to, is giving him a resounding mandate, then one has to say that, well, it has worked. It's the BJP has become, as it were, a lifestyle, a worldview, a dominant worldview in India. So it's not about
Okay.
being a fan, but I just think it's, or not, but I think one has to kind of see also what this means for Indian federalism, and so on, because you have to also give it to the opposition, including your shows and all that, where you saw that the opposition did manage to construct a very powerful counter narrative. And so much so that the BJP manifesto was incredibly, geared towards guarantees, welfareism of the kind you got a Hindutva light or Hindutva absent manifesto. So I think that, and bizarrely, the gains in the north, whatever they are, I mean, these are not
Yeah.
final numbers, also shows, however, the weakness of the opposition to hold on to gains that it makes elsewhere in the south. And I
And
think that,
actually, the biggest trend, sorry to interrupt you, that's
yeah.
emerging is that where the opposition does well in state elections, let's say Telangana
Mm,
or Karnataka,
mm.
it doesn't manage to convert, if the exit poll numbers are correct, and I'm going to keep qualifying that.
Yes.
If the exit poll numbers are correct, then it doesn't manage to be seen as a national alternative, even when it's seen as a strong local alternative. So that's something to also
Yes, so the point
think
really
about.
is therefore exactly my point, that are we moving to a party state, in the sense that where actually the BJP will have, given that you have now very centralized processes in India.
Okay.
GST is a, centralized taxation. So what is, and if you're going to have one nation, one poll, and if you're going to have a southern presence for the BJP, we're in a very different era of party politics in India. And that is why this was a moment for Indian political parties to have a bipartisanship. Now, that is a difficulty because all our regional parties are actually, peaked out. And if you're saying what is coming out of Odisha, all these signs are showing that this is going to be a very hegemonic force. So I'll just say that. I mean, and particularly for something like the Aam Aadmi Party, if these numbers are correct, I mean, it's a shocker, because this is a party which came with so much
Okay.
popularity, and
Let me
you would have thought that it would have got some sympathy in Delhi at least.
let me actually just welcome Tausifor Rahman to the program of the Trinamool Congress. Karthik, you have a quick. I need to go to the others. You have something important, Karthik? Yes.
It's a big coincidence that Trinamool Congress guest has joined us, because I think the final numbers of all exit polls from Bengal, more or less the ones that I'm following, are out.
Okay, we
And
need to update
so,
this slide then, but give us the big picture. Yeah.
big picture is the BJP is going to be the single largest party from West Bengal, and if I can just show you the average, so the four
Yeah.
polls that we are following, the
Yeah.
BJP seems to be edging towards 25. Trinamool is hovering around that 16 mark, and if you add whatever the Congress and the left will win, then it's going to be a flip, which is that the BJP gets around 25 seats, whereas the India Alliance gets roughly 17 to 18 seats in West Bengal. And I think that, for me, will be the biggest story at this point in time. So,
Okay.
so Odisha and West Bengal. So this is
Yeah.
Barkha. I think credit where it's due. This is going the Prashant Kishore way. your interview with Prashant Kishore.
Yeah, I'm going to take some
Take
credit
this
for being the
further,
first.
please.
I'm going to be the. I'm going to take some credit for at least being the first one to interview him, if nothing else is owed to me as credit. But okay, the big story at this hour, we have exit polls projecting the BJP to be the single largest party in West Bengal. I would like to remind our audience that the Prime Minister, in an interview to ANI, said that Bengal was going to be their best performance if the results hold. Can we stay on Bengal? I need to stay on the Bengal slide, please. I guess it's being updated. Tausif or Rahman, do come in with
Yes.
your first reactions, and then I'll come to Shashi and Sandeep. Tausif.
Good evening, Barkhaji, and good evening to everyone. I was having some technical problems, that's why I'm late. I apologize for that. But Barkhaji, these exit poll might become the exit gate for Narendra Modi and his teammates. But it's okay. I understand lots of channel and the owners, they have some pressures, unlike you, and they are showing some exit results. But it's okay. I mean, what we have asked from the people when we went to the people, we were asking votes on the basis of work what we have done in last 10 years. Because I have seen the honorable Prime Minister is doing meditation from last he will do for 45 hours or 50 hours whatsoever. But this is actually not a meditation; it's a media attention. He wants to create that, and that's his problem. It's not our
But why
problem.
don't you
I
talk
mean, I
about these
congratulate.
numbers?
Anyways, but yeah,
Tausif,
I
you're
mean,
talking about everything but these numbers. Talk about these
no, that's why I
numbers.
told you these exit gate. I mean, this will become an exit gate. While the BJP is only focusing on the numbers of the seat they will get in Lok Sabha polls. They are conveniently ignoring the dismissal, performance in the assembly election across India, Barkha. Out of 28 seats of India, BJP has faced a humiliating defeat, not only in West Bengal, but Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Jharkhand, Kerala, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, everywhere. I mean, don't forget Gujarat, Goa, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand. Only in 6 seats
So,
they are there.
so you,
So now,
so
if
you
you
are
want
saying,
to,
you are saying these exit polls, all four of them on the screen, all four of them, no divergence in the pattern, all
I
four.
mean, people answer. You can see I'm smiling. I don't have to fight with anyone. So
Yes.
we can just answer everything on the 4th of June, and the debate is on. So we can come back again. That's
Okay.
not an issue.
Okay, so let me get Shashi and Sandeep who haven't spoken at all, and then we can look at some of the other states. Shashi, go ahead. Hopefully we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I think that directionally the exit polls are confirming what we discussed a few days back and what has been apparent right from the beginning of this election, that Mr. Modi is poised towards the third term. The final numbers, of course, will wait for the 4th of June. But what is very interesting is that the manner in which a narrative has been created over the past few days, trying to make it look like somehow the BJP is going to slip, or somehow the alliance is doing better, and then this entire barrage of articles in the global media, trying to create a false narrative. I think that is what is very interesting, because until now, all of this appear to be in the realm of conspiracy theory, right? But then when you have OpenAI, coming on record and saying that there were attempts to influence the AI model with anti-BJP pro-Congress content, with Meta coming on and saying that they've taken down accounts operating in China, which are trying to put out pro-Khalistani content, anti-India content. It becomes very clear that this is not just a conspiracy theory. There was a very concerted attempt between activists, media platforms, trying to somehow pull down, the momentum.
But Shashi, the problem is they say the same. There's conspiracy theories on both sides of the trenches, right? There are already a statement from Jairam Ramesh today saying the Home Minister is pressuring, officers on the ground. So there are conspiracy theories being traded and counter traded. Are
Well,
you
the
are you
difference is that
apprehending? Yeah, go ahead.
now you
Go
have
ahead.
third-party platforms validating this, right? So that's different. It's very different from me making an allegation or Mr. Jairam Ramesh making an allegation. Here you have a platform, an independent platform like OpenAI or Meta, coming on record and saying that they've taken down these influence operations. I think that is very substantial.
Okay, I just want to get in a comment from Sandeep, and then we can go around the panel again looking at other states. West Bengal at this point, if this holds true, will be in a way the most dramatic the most dramatic result, Sandeep, if the Trinamool emerges as I beg your pardon, if the BJP emerges as the single largest party in Bengal, displacing the Trinamool. Sandip Ghosh, go ahead.
Barkha, I'll hold my horses on West Bengal
Yeah.
because of two reasons. West Bengal, between exit polls or any kind of opinion polls and actual what goes into either the ballot box or into the EVM, sometimes there is a wide disparity for reasons which need not be spelled out. So I would wait, and in any case, some of the key constituencies went to vote only today. So hold on to that for a couple of days more. I wouldn't jump the horses, but in terms of ground sentiments and other things which you are saying, it was clearly wind in the sails of BJP. No matter what Tausif may say, that Modi's roadshow in Calcutta, organic support which people saw was, I think, palpable. But we would still wait for Tausif, you can wait till 4th. It's a very standard practice that those, when the opinion polls go against someone, they discount it. When it's in favor, they do so. You're entitled to dismiss it. So is the AAP person. So I'm not supporting the exit polls. You're entirely, just as Congress is, entitled to boycott the poll. So none of us are taking the exit poll numbers as sacrosanct or given or going into celebrations or mourning because of that. So everybody understands that, including the viewers. So we would wait for that. But Barkha, the key thing we need to see when I'm not grabbing the discussion, when you're seeing, you have to split between BJP numbers and NDA alliance numbers, and similarly in the NDA alliance, what is Congress and what are the alliances? Because NDA, especially, I believe the battle was fought at two levels. Though all of you keep talking about the India alliance in totality, but India alliance, the regional battles were very, very different. And, so I expect the India alliance partners to do much better than Congress. Whereas in NDA, you will find it is predominantly BJP, and the alliance partners are not going to do that well. Reasons for that are separate, or why they were taken on board. So that also is a distinction we need to bring in. And finally, about Delhi, all of us are expressing surprise. My view is AAP and Congress combining, AAP weakened their case. AAP as a standalone, they have the reasons, but once the distinction was blurred, I think that's where their case was weakened.
Okay, so Sandeep is holding his horses, as he said, on Bengal. Tausif, quick response. I do need to start looking at the other states now. Of course, 2 of the 4 polls are giving the BJP a clean sweep in Gujarat. I just want to recap. Yeah, 1 second. Just
UP's numbers have been released.
I know. Give me just a second, because we have only one agency out on UP. I'm coming to it. There's so much happening at the same time. Tausif, just 1 second. The big picture.
Barkha,
okay, go ahead.
BJP made tall claims, They made tall claims about sweeping 2021 Bengal elections. But what was the result? They couldn't even cross 100 mark. At first, BJP target in Bengal was 42. Later, that came down to 35, and now it is 25. But even this figure is dubious, as the BJP has a history of setting new lows. Thus, it will not be shocking if you want the numbers from my side. The numbers can come down to 6, 7, 8. That's the reality, because I never wanted to open my mouth, but it's okay when you talk about exit polls.
For the BJP?
Yes, of course, for the BJP. For the BJP. It doesn't matter with how much crowd Narendra Modi is doing a rally. Has he converted those votes? No.
Okay. I just want to say that numbers are coming now at a very fast pace. The second polling agency has also predicted a march ahead for the BJP in Bengal. So I just want to say that. The big picture,
right.
I'm coming to UP. Okay, it's all right. Let's switch to Uttar Pradesh, because we do have the first numbers coming in from UP. At the moment, the drama of this election is coming in the south and the east. In the south, because the BJP is holding on to Karnataka, sweeping with its allies Andhra Pradesh, and opening its accounts in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and fighting neck and neck in Telangana. That's the story of the south. In the east, exit polls are projecting that the BJP is the single largest party in both Bengal and Odisha. in the Lok Sabha. So the East is a very, very dramatic picture at this point. We'll come to UP in just a minute, but this is the big picture at this point. Satyapal Jain, I want to bring you in and then we'll look at UP right after that. Satyapal Jain, the overall picture, please.
The same
Okay.
sentence which I said when I
Yeah.
concluded my remarks, that unfortunately or fortunately, those who are opposing Mr. Modi, they don't understand Mr. Modi. And sometimes I feel, with all respect to the leaders of the India alliance, either they don't understand the ground level realities, or if they understand it, they just conveniently want to ignore it and even laugh at it also. Somebody said, I'm
Yeah.
laughing at it also. You see,
Yeah.
the slogan given was BJP South में साफ, तो क्या South में साफ हो रही है? North में half, North में increase हो रही है. Or I mean the slogans that you were giving were totally bereft of the realities on the ground level. Mr. Modi, you are forgetting, is the first prime minister in the entire Indian political and administrative history who directly communicates with the masses. Have you ever seen, hear the speeches of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, even with Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who directly communicates with the people? Man ki baat, direct transfer of the money to their accounts. The public rallies also, if you see, he's the leader who carries the audience with him. ये आपको मिला, ये आपके साथ हुआ, हाँ हुआ, whatever it is.
Okay.
I am saying he's a leader who has established direct contact with the masses, and it is the masses who are electing him. Somebody was saying here, some panelists, okay, what is happening and all that. See, let us not forget, it is for the third time consecutively that the people of this country are going to elect him as the Prime Minister of India. The MPs are not that important as the leader. People sometimes say, we don't vote for the local candidate, we are voting for the Prime Minister. So when you have to fight such a leader, I think it's not possible for them, it is beyond them, because they are not able to understand the ground level realities. Mr. Modi has won the hearts of the crores, millions of people of India. They have all faith in him. Not only that, he is the tallest leader in the world now. Indian masses have elected him to a place. And if you put him at number 100, I say there is no leader in Indian politics up to 50 who can match him. So I think
Okay.
the results which are coming will be even better than the.
Okay, before I ask Kartik to take us through the UP numbers, I want to allow Akshay to come in. Akshay, yes, go ahead, Akshay Marathe.
Barkha, I want to say that I think everybody understands Narendra Modi perfectly well. I can speak for my own party, Aam Aadmi Party. The top 4 leaders of my party were in jail for the last several months. Now, let me just put to you, Barkha, you run a YouTube channel. Ashutosh runs his own YouTube channel. If Ashutosh were to arrest you, Kartikeya, and your entire crew, and then compete for numbers between the two of you, who do you think is going to win? So let's not pretend that this is a legitimately fought election by a mass leader who has become this king of the universe because he's won a third election or is supposed to win a third election. He's doing it using foul play. He's attacking the institutions that have kept India a democracy for all this time. And the opposition leaders are fighting against that. We will accept the results as they come, but let's not all pretend that this has been a free and fair election, at the very least.
There's a difference between saying it's not a level playing field and saying it's not a free and fair election. These are two completely different statements. You can say the BJP has more wealth. You can say the BJP has weaponized the ED and the CBI. Yes, yes, Mr. Satyapal Jain. Yes.
You see, Mr. My friend from the Aam
Marathe.
Aadmi Party was saying they have put
Yes.
them in jail and it's not a fair competition. See,
Yes.
people were put in jail during emergency also. I was myself in jail 1975 when the emergency was imposed. Mr. George Fernandez was in jail. He was elected by the people by more than 2 lakh votes because they were in jail because of political atrocities on them. This time the leaders are in jail because of the allegations of corruption on them. Supreme Court, High Court. Supreme Court today said, no, you have to go back to jail. You have no faith in government. You have no faith in ED. You have no faith in court. You have no faith in Supreme Court. You are not in jail because of political reasons. You are in jail because of the allegation of corruption. Those people who were in jail number of times, 77, 75, I have myself seen people were elected even from the jails. So people know the difference between the people who have been sent to jails because of political reasons and those leaders who are sent to jail because of allegations of corruption.
Okay. At this moment, this debate will carry on and it will carry on right into results day. if these numbers mirror the exit polls. But right now, we need to actually go through all of the states. Kartike, the UP, we have 2 agencies of the 4 that we're tracking coming in with the numbers. We also have an all India picture. Go ahead with your updates.
Barkha, but before that, I think Telangana has become clearer as well now. And I think it's another choke for the Congress because on average now, Telangana's polls are suggesting that Congress will cross no more than 6 seats, whereas the BJP might end up with 10. So that basically means that even in Telangana, the BJP will dominate the Congress. So that South uh, angle that you were bringing in, I think Karnataka and Telangana, where the Congress hope to do better than the BJP. Well, even in Telangana, this is a big
I mean, the South and the East so far have been the big stories of the election. I know everybody's been waiting for UP, but UP at the moment is status.
The spectacular decline of in Telangana, the spectacular decline of the BRS has benefited the BJP more than the Congress. And that's why it seems that the 28% percentage point decline in the BRS's vote share as per one agency poll, when you evenly split it across the 2 parties, I think the BJP benefited. And it seems like BJP might end up being the bigger party in Telangana vis-a-vis the Congress. Overall, because now C voters complete. In fact, I would say then UP, because C voters numbers are out in for UP.
But just hang on, we have Telangana on our screen now, so we can just for a moment take a look.
Axis just came out, which is why I made that comment that I did.
Okay, so we need to update that slide.
Axis is predicting 11 to 12 seats for the BJP in Telangana and 4 to 6 seats for the Congress in Telangana. So I think that because that happened, I revealed the numbers of Telangana. But I think Uttar Pradesh, in fact, I would say is a good performance by the opposition. Now, this can't be true. AVPC voter being 60 to 66 for BJP. The India Alliance is doing 15 to 17. So it means that even when you remove the BSP, the SP Congress have been able to keep the BJP in check, right? So if the C voter numbers are to go by, and I have all the reasons to go by that number, it seems like even without the BSP, the SP Congress have put up a spirited enough fight to restrict the BJP to 62 to 66, which means that this result is a big thumbs down to the BSP, whose numbers won't be mentioned anywhere. But I think when you do the analysis, and these numbers are true, when you finally look at the final numbers, as on the 4th, the BSP will be the biggest story from Uttar Pradesh. But it seems like UP is stagnant, whereas 2 months back, we were hoping that UP would, people were saying 70 plus. In fact, our polls were saying 70 plus for the BJP. But it seems that Akhilesh Yadav and the Congress have been able to put up a good fight. So if you see the India Alliance, what it has done, it has been able to keep the BJP in check in the states where it maximized last time. Whether it is Haryana, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Goa, these are the places where the BJP has been kept in check, but they are more than making up for these losses as per these exit polls in Bengal, in Odisha, in Telangana, and somewhat in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So I would once again go back. This is the script that Mr. Prashant Kishore laid out on your interview, and it seems that's playing out.
Prashant Kishore in my interview also said that he thought that Mr. Modi would be back, but that he's a brand in decline, and his 3rd term would be met with public unrest and street agitations, and the people would do the job of the opposition. Right now, the numbers don't reflect. The numbers don't reflect that.
No, I don't agree with that. No, why don't the numbers reflect?
Because the BJP has held on to its territory in most places except Maharashtra, and a little bit of knocks in Rajasthan and Haryana, and gained in new places, which is also the argument that Prashant Kishore made.
So on the 4th of June, we'll know the final figures. But Barkha, if there is this sort of downward trajectory in states like Haryana, Rajasthan, it is coming from a place of discontent, right? So I don't think that one can say that there's no discontent. It's just that the BJP is smart enough to make sure that its political machinery works in a way that if it knows it's losing in certain pockets, it knows how to make up for it in other pockets that are probably virgin territories for it, places like Odisha, Bengal, not very virgin territories, but like relatively new territories. So I wouldn't say that the second part is necessarily negated by the mandate, but it does seem like a mandate. One more headline I should give you is, if the Axis numbers are going, if the C voter numbers are to go by, 353 to 383 is the final range for the NDA, which means it's bettering its 2019 record. For the India Alliance, it's 152 to 182. I don't see the Congress split separately right now.
Barkha,
My
can I
sense
come in,
is
please?
Congress is
Yeah.
marginally better than 52, which it got last time.
Okay.
That is as per these exit polls. I must say that this is my job is to analyze the numbers as they're coming in. You may agree or disagree. On the 4th of June, we'll know, but this is what is coming.
Okay, so Uttar Pradesh, very quickly before Tausif and everybody else responds, is a largely status quoist.
Yeah.
It's a largely status quoist holding operation in the heartland of India, which means some would argue that the Mandir has not added incremental votes. Incremental votes.
And I think the bigger story is the BSP's movement away from the India Alliance to being this third player who was tacitly helping the BJP. Despite that, the SP plus holding on to these seats, I think if you, in hindsight, if you look at everything, you would say if this is true, if the SP Congress are inching towards that 20 mark, this is not a bad performance.
Okay, let me get in Tausif or Rahman and then go around the panel. Let's also update our all India picture based on the numbers we have so far. Tausif, do go ahead. Tausif, is he there? I actually can't see him. Tausif, is Tausif there? You need to come out of this live so I can look at my panel. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so according, I have a basic thought. According to the Honorable Prime Minister, when he was back in Kolkata, so he was talking about कि इस बार भारतीय जनता दल पार्टी बंगाल में सबसे अच्छा करेगी पूरे भारत में. So, according to my analysis, is Bharatiya Janata Dal Party going down in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and all the ruling states in India? I mean, this is not my assumption. This is assumption coming from the Honorable Prime Minister that BJP is going to do the best and the farthest best result in West Bengal. So what about Uttar Pradesh? I want to know what about Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and everywhere. Are they going down by 5 to 6% of vote percentage? It's a very big thing, Barkha.
Yeah, so I think we will know on the 4th of June, and this is something, Tausif, that was repeatedly said to me when I was traveling in Uttar Pradesh, that the margins will be lower, but BJP seat nikal degi. So we will have to wait for the actual breakup of the votes. I am not for a moment
And Barkha, we are winning Bhadoi seat, by the way. We are very much confident about the Bhadoi seat. Trinamool Congress candidate, Sri Lalitesh Tripathi, he is going to win hands down over there. Okay, so whatever seats coming in Bengal, that will be +1 from Uttar Pradesh.
Okay. But all I was trying to say was that when on the 4th of June, we have the actual constituency-wise vote share, your point will be analyzed. That has there been closer contests than anybody expected. And I don't think anyone says there wasn't a fight in this election or that this was a walkover. This was a very, very hard fought election. And we have to grant all of the protagonists that it was a fiercely fought election, and the vote share will tell us that story. Okay, I was going to come to Sandip, but he's taken a phone call, so I'll come to Shashi instead. Shashi, the overall picture looks like this as of this moment. The exit polls as of this moment, but remember, a lot will get updated. These numbers could change. The NDA is projected to get 340 already, and we're still waiting for all the numbers to come in. Do go ahead, Shashi Vempathi.
Yeah, I think the macro picture is what we need to look at, because directionally, that's what the exit polls tell us. These micro arguments on one state versus the other, what percentages and so on, is something that you'll have to wait for the 4th of June. But big picture wise, I think the message is very clear that the BJP, as Mr. Jain pointed out right at the beginning, that it is now a truly Bharatiya party. It is gaining seats across the country in states that historically it has struggled with. Now it has a pan-India presence. It is now occupying the ground that the Congress used to occupy back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I think that is the big message here. That is the big picture here. And as if this trend and this momentum holds on the 4th, you're not only looking at Prime Minister Modi, becoming, taking over as PM for the 3rd term, but he's probably potentially going to break the records of Mrs. Gandhi. He's probably going to catch up with Pandit Nehru. So that is I think a historically significant development in the broader political context of modern Indian history.
Okay, Sandip and then Shruti. Sandip.
Taking off from Shashi, a point I've been maintaining in many of my articles, knowing Mr. Modi, And I think Mr. Jain said very well that people don't know Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi says, Modi kya cheez hai, log ko malum nahi hai. Now, whether Mr. Modi kya cheez or Mr. Modi, he is not going to be satisfied as just being a third-term prime minister equaling Mr. Nehru. He is going to try and leave a much bigger mark on the polity, whether nationally or internationally. That is what he's going to do. So therefore, when you're talking of South, I am not so, would not be so worried about one seat, two seat, or what you're getting in Kerala, but how BJP is increasing its footprint. Mr. Modi, at the end of the day, he calls himself a Gujarati who knows business, and a businessman is not going to invest so much resources in a market. I use the word market deliberately, that in resources in terms of time, in terms of the number of rallies they have held in the South, and now even going and doing this Kanyakumari meditation, if they are not looking at substantial gains in the South in terms of vote share, and they always play for the longer run. So this is a build up to the next assembly elections in Kerala and also in Tamil Nadu going forward. So I think that is the significance of those numbers. I would say that we still, the statewide analysis is interesting. Like in UP, you need to say whether Congress is actually making gains or not. But I was telling you earlier, when you're looking at the entire India Alliance total numbers, we have to split between how much Congress is getting, whether Congress is getting 50 to 55, or Congress is, taking it up substantially. That would be interesting to watch out over there. Maharashtra, coming back to what Kartikeya was saying, I see the Maharashtra strategy very differently. I don't think it's fair to compare NDA versus NDA earlier, NDA now, because that was BJP plus the entire United Shiv Sena. And similarly, India Alliance today, it's not how you should look at it. I think the BJP's strategy there was to see its total tally does not come down below that 24 number, which it had in 2019 as the total there. And that's why these were insurance purchases which they made with Shiv Sena Shinde as well as Ajit Pawar's NCP over there. And they knew, in these things, the bigger losses are what you're talking about is in Rajasthan, Haryana. Rajasthan, I think it is a lot of it is due to wrong seat allocations, ticket allocations which they have done. Haryana is a clear case of dissatisfaction and problem with the organization out there. Those have to be seen. Even in Bihar,
can you take a look at your screen? Punjab, where the BJP had no alliance with the Akalis. Kartik, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so Punjab, I think, Barkha, there's one funny number, which is Chanakya, which is seemingly giving a 4 plus minus 3 range to both Congress and BJP. So if you just keep that aside, again, I think it is more or less along expected lines, where if you join the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, lion's share of the seats will go to them. So look at ABPC voter, that's roughly 9 to all 13 seats, or going to the Congress plus AAP. Axis and, India Today Axis saying that, 9 to 11 seats, or roughly 11 seats could go to the Congress plus AAP. So the BJP is either holding on to the 2 seats, or maybe making marginal gains, but Akali Dal seems to be facing a very sort of, bleak future, because they did really badly in the assembly elections. And if they again are reduced to 1 or 2 seats, which is the best case scenario as per just one survey, then I think that will be the big story. But I think Punjab is expected line. I think today's Chanakya is kind of a joker in the pack. So to say.
Okay, Shruti, let's bring you in, and then we'll look at Andhra. We're waiting, of course, for the final numbers on UP that will help us make a more informed projection for the All India picture. But do go ahead to Satyapal Jain's point that you can't fight Modi if you don't understand him. That not you as in you, Shruti, the opposition. The opposition, because the opposition doesn't understand Modi. It's applying a very old way of thinking when it, counters the Prime Minister. What do you see?
I think the question is really what actually Sandip Ghose left at, which is, I think it will be important to see where the Congress lands. Is it more at the 50 plus mark or at the 85 plus mark? Because that actually, as I said, it's not about being pro or opposed to anyone. It's about having a kind of a contestable political landscape where there is contest possible. And I think the question is whether India will become a two-party political system. That really looks like, because there is no way. I mean, in that sense, you can see with large number of regional parties now maxed out or even on their way out, or if the ARP is actually just literally going to be a 10-year wonder, then, it just shows that, therefore, actually, the question of the opposition lies very solely back on the Congress. And it also has a national footprint. So I think that's really the first thing to say. And I think the second question is going to be like, how do you articulate power? Because you have to give it to the opposition that it really won the narrative and even produced a contested media landscape in this election for the first time in 10 years. So, you could find, a lot of kind of coverage on what they were doing, what their arguments were. Those arguments were something that even the prime minister was responding to. And the rhetoric was also something. So I think there was, I wouldn't say a level playing field, but there was a contest of ideas and narrative. The question now is, how do you kind of retain it? Is it a question of lack of institutional depth, lack of cadre, money power? What is it? Because I disagree that the opposition does not understand the prime minister. I think that, in fact, the prime minister showed agility in stealing a large number of the opposition's ideas, because it knew that he understood there was economic distress, and therefore the manifesto spoke in terms of guarantees. And I think that's been a total game changer for this election. And I would love to see the breakdown of numbers in terms of direct cash transfers, welfare, women. These are really the new kind of processes that are determining Indian politics. And I think my money would be that, yes, that's what's happened. And to that, you'll have to then ironically give credit to the opposition, because they really forced that issue very much at the get-go.
Okay, Sandeep has his hand up, but Karthik, you have an update for us, Karthik?
But Odisha is also all out, and I think, remember, we started by saying it's like a tsunami of the BJP, and all polls are saying that. So Odisha is going one way. It's like the new Rajasthan or Gujarat, so to say, if these polls are to go by, because of 21 seats, on average, the BJP is clocking 17. And curiously, the BJD and the Congress are fighting it out for the number 2, number 3 spots.
Yeah.
And I think so Odisha and West Bengal are the big two stories for the BJP, even more than probably Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Well, I was just going to say that it's very interesting that if the exit poll numbers hold, then the so-called Hindi heartland or the Hindi-speaking states are status quoist results with some knocks for the BJP in states like Rajasthan and Haryana. But in the east and the south is where the BJP, and the east, if these numbers hold, is going to be a very, very dramatic development. Again, Karthik, we haven't got the assembly. We should remind our audience.
I think this is something that Shruti should sort of probably talk about, because my sense is it is very possible that despite seeing these numbers in the Lok Sabha polls, the assembly seats might go more towards the BJD. And that I think will be a very interesting trend, because this is not the 2019 election where the BJP is gaining 8 seats, but majority Lok Sabha seats are still with the BJD, and they're in the assembly. This now is a sweep for the BJP, I would say. This is no less than a sweep if you get 17 or 21 seats in the Lok Sabha. And at the same time, if the BJD is able to retain the assembly election, it's like Delhi election, except that it's happening at the same time. There is no temporal gap, right?
And I think for the opposition, no, I was just going to pick up your point to say that for the opposition, that's something to think about, that people respond quite differently to a set of local options and then to national options.
The other thing, Barkha, to understand, this is more for a political journalist and not for someone like me, is to understand what kind of arrangements the BJP and BJD would have gotten into or could have gotten into. That I think is a different political story. I'm not making a comment, but it's just.
That's a very interesting.
That's
a very interesting. Yes. Sandip,
I'll just take
you go ahead.
Here. Kartikeya, this is very interesting, and on what you have to see in the assembly. In fact, there was deep discomfort, I know, within the BJP camp when there was talk about a BJP and BJD alliance for these elections. And they say if they do that, they will be actually resurrecting the Congress in Odisha. And so you have to see what happens in these elections, and I think where the Congress features in the assembly elections over there. And that is, I think, critical for both BJP and BJD. And that's what you're saying, that could have been a trade-off, that fine, we won't go in for this
And
alliance.
I think, Sandeep, they got spooked by the Telangana experience, because in Telangana, the Congress was able to resurrect itself by showing that the BRS and the BJP are on the same page.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So,
And
so,
here,
Sandeep, you agree that there could be a covert kind of arrangement? We'll let you keep the state. You let us take the Lok Sabha.
covert arrangement, and we'll certainly not combine there, because there was deep, a concern among the BJP people at that stage, including some of the central leaders, about this alliance, there was strong talk of happening over there in Odisha. Only thing wanted to counter there on Shruti's point, about the narrative. A lot of these narrative building is restricted to our kind of these discussions which we have on these channels. We have to see how does it affect people down there. And there again, giving credit to Prashant Kishore. What he said, and from a marketing standpoint, we also know that when you've got a market which is saturated, you expect losing market share to your competitors and new entrants. So BJP's strategy was to secure its core voters. And that is what your Ram Mandir and everything did. So Prashant Kishore was very right to say that strategy was fine to retain his core voters, but they were not looking at incremental seats. And the incremental seats, is look at it, is only from the swing voters who are sitting on the fence. And I think that is where what Congress could have gained. And my submission is, in many places, Congress lost the swing voters, or people who are getting to some extent disenchanted. People like me, Barkha, who keep on saying that I'm not a BJP follower, but I'm a Modi follower, kind of a thing. I'm seeing this, though these people will not vote in the US today. There are people who, they will not vote the OCIs and the NRIs, but there were people who were veering away even from Modi, who got scared by this khatakat, khatakat, khatakat kind of announcement. They said, oh, which way will it go and take the economy? A lot of people I was on a show just before this on a finance channel, on a business channel. There was also this worry among the business community, if the khatakat, khatakat, khatakat happens, that which way we'll go. So some of those swing voters did not come to Congress as it would have come with this so-called narrative building.
We will need a lot more granular data when the actual results come, to see how close did the contest become closer. Were there tougher fights? Did the margins of victory reduce? Where did the Congress land? But Akshay,
that
and then
is the
Shruti,
Congress landing is very important.
Sorry, can I go to Akshay and then to you right after that? Akshay Marathe, please go ahead.
Barkha, I want to quickly comment on the Odisha question, although my party is not a major player there. But even the suggestion that the BJP would get into a deal with the BJD and allow them to keep the state in return for the Lok Sabha is, it's kind of the wildest thing I've heard. The BJP goes after every inch of political space. They cannot tolerate any other party but themselves to remain in power. And that is what the parties like BJD need to also understand. That if they want their existence to continue and they want their sustenance to happen in India, having any truck with the Bharatiya Janata Party is very dangerous, as has happened with several of their alliance partners. That happened with Akali Dal, it happened with Shiv Sena, it happened with, there are countless examples of how the BJP completely gobbles up any either real or potential alliance partner.
So you're not buying the conspiracy theory. So do you have it? Then the BJP victory becomes even more dramatic, Akshay.
No, I think Odisha, from what I know from my party unit in Odisha has had a political vacuum for some years now. Clearly, Naveen Patnaik is perceived to be an older leader who's perhaps whose time has come, and there is a vacuum in Odisha, and it is waiting to be filled. So in this case, if BJP is going to fill it, I don't think that necessarily means they have become a dominant player in that state. It is politics is a long game, and I want to make a final comment about this, which is that nothing is permanent. We have seen very big powers collapse, especially if they get too arrogant and complacent. So I do think that the BJP's ability to be so overconfident and arrogant in their victories should be a warning sign for themselves, that don't take it so lightly and take it for granted. People watch, they don't appreciate everything. The moment that they see any chinks in their armor, any vulnerability, it will not take more than a few years for them to collapse. So I will leave it at that, and I don't, I'll wait for the 4th of June to make any.
Yeah. Okay. We're winding down. We're just, Satyapal Jain ji, just coming to you after Shruti. We're waiting for the final numbers to come on Uttar Pradesh, where at the moment it seems a status quo is more or less the BJP performing exactly the same way as it did in 2019. Shruti, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Thank you. I didn't really mean to come in. I wanted to actually respond to Sandeep, and who's unfortunately not here.
Yes.
But I just wanted to say that actually, I think the big question is really how the economy and welfare is going to shape up. So it's not about the katakat stuff. It's really a kind of direct cash transfer style welfareism, which clearly works for the BJP, a very and goes beyond its, as it were, Hindu first core vote. And that added with that, I think, and with the, as it were, what do you now do with reform? Uh, because after all, the losses in Rajasthan and Haryana, as projected here, will have certainly everything to do with the with those farm laws that were taken away. So, despite this kind of brute mandate, is the Prime Minister able to take bold economic decisions? I think that's going to be a touchstone of the third term if he's going to get one. Which, according to this, he is getting one, but he has two very contradictory now constituencies and pulls on it in terms of economic reform and a really massive centralized welfareism, which then is going to, as it were, put a huge question mark on the future of federalism in India. So I think it is, I mean, in the sense, if this is what it is, then of course it's a very decisive mandate for the Prime Minister. But what, to me, shockingly, the difficulty is that I actually now don't know what Modi 3.0 is going to look like. We had a very clear sense of him going into the first election, also in the second election. Like there was no surprise that came. However, in the third election, and I'm actually, just as an analyst, not, thinking in terms of, in any particular way, I actually don't know what he stands for, in where the direction is going to be, quite apart from, a welfarist populist agenda and a demand from the global markets to want to take more economic reform. And I think there will be challenges on the economic front, and the opposition, if, as I say, if the Congress is up at an 85-90 mark, there is future for a bipartisan polity.
Yeah. Now we're waiting, of course, for the All India picture to be updated. But there's quite a divergence in the numbers at this point, and both Shashi and Satyapal Jain, you may also want to look at this again. Some of the polls are not complete with their numbers, so these numbers are going to get refreshed. But this are the I'm just waiting for that slide to actually come up. There's a divergence in where that NDA number might actually settle down. Can we please have it there? There it is. So this is a poll of polls, but if you break it down individually, it's a little bit contradictory, right? So in the aggregate, the NDA is doing better. Can we please have the split for the BJP and the Congress separately in this? That would be really, really important. But quick responses. Satyapal Jain ji, please go ahead. Can we unmute Satyapal Jain, please? Sir, you're muted at your end. I actually can't see the screen. So, Satyapal ji?
No, it's okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yes.
See, the figure which has been projected by taking the average of almost all the exit polls for the NDA is somewhere between 353 to 383. To my mind, this is
that's one agency, sir. That's one agency.
Other is 385 to 415. I think this number is minimum, not the maximum.
Only one agency, only India Today Access is saying 294 to 329.
I am very confident NDA will be crossing 400 marks, 400 not marks, but seats when the final result come on 4th of June. Second, let's not forget, as per the Indian Constitution, it is we the people of India who decide the fate of the country. And we the people of India in 2014, 2019, and again in 2024 have reposed their full and absolute confidence in Shri Narendra Modi, who is going to run the government for the betterment of the nation and the people for full 5 years from 2014 to 2024 to 29. And I am very hopeful. The nation is hopeful. He will continue to lead the country as per the wishes of the people of India for a very long time to come.
Okay, I'm going to request all three of you to stay on just 5 more minutes than you were supposed to, because we now have the final agency on Uttar Pradesh, India Today Access, mirroring ABPC voter, mostly maybe a marginal increase for the BJP, 67 to 72. So an increase certainly for the NDA rather, I should say, because there's also Apna Dal there in alliance. Shashi, any thoughts on the UP projection?
No, I think
Shashi,
that's
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So your earlier slide, I think, was not complete because Access, I think, has now projected only till 463 seats. So there's still
Yeah.
so that figure for NDA was not.
Oh, I see. I was also wondering why that wasn't. So we need to update our All India slide, guys. Yeah, but go ahead on UP first. Yeah.
The other thing I would caution is that because each of these polls have different sample sizes, doing an average is a very statistically very fallacious thing to do. So you would rather just look at that table with different figures rather than try to do a poll of polls because that's not a statistically sound thing to do since the sample sizes are very different in each of these polls. Having said that, however, I think directionally the UP numbers are very interesting. That despite all the talk of the cohesion between the SP and the Congress and all the talk of revival and so on, I think the BJP's numbers are holding, and if we go by Access, perhaps they're even improving. So I think the bigger picture is very, very clear, and I don't see any surprises there. What will be interesting is, of course, the minute details, which will become apparent to us only on the 4th of June. But going back to Professor Kapila's point earlier that she's not sure what the third term will look like. I don't think there's any ambiguity on that because Mr. Modi has been very clear on his 100-day agenda. In fact, there are several news reports which have talked about different departments which are already putting together their roadmap for what the Modi 3.0 priorities will look like. And of course, it will be a combination of economic reforms and a social net, because that is what his strategy has always been, that cast a wide social net and build a ladder of opportunities. And that's the direction which he will take the country in the third term, hopefully, once the results are in. So broadly,
Sorry, go ahead.
The contours of Modi 3.0 will be about boosting the economy, getting to that figure of 5 trillion, where we become the third largest economy in the world, and then of course India's place in the global order. I think all of those will be factors, but not losing sight of the fact that we are still a developing country. There's a large population that needs to be lifted, become part of the middle class, and I think that is where the social casting a very wide social net will continue to be very important, and that's where the use of technology, direct benefits transfer, eliminating the middleman, and bringing a lot of efficiency within the system in terms of delivery. I think that is what this mandate ultimately will be about, that people trusted the delivery record.
Okay, we're just waiting for the updated slide on the All India picture. And I think that will be very important because there was an Abki Baar 400 Par slogan for the NDA, and we need to see that slide. But Shruti, do go ahead and respond.
I don't really have much to add at this point, apart from saying that, yes, I mean, I do feel that, one of the arguments I make is that, the people always make an argument that, well, China gave the world capitalism without democracy. And I think India will give the world a party state and a multi-party polity, which is to say that we will see a much more centralized political system, in which it's not simply about a person. It is actually about the BJP plus and its affiliates and its leadership, that machinery kind of weighing heavily, and whether it's efficient. I mean, efficiency is part of its image and also it's some of its delivery. But I do think we will see it is a very different kind of India from, say, 15 years ago, politically, not just economically. And I think there will be some challenges ahead, particularly geopolitical challenges. But the question is that the real question is, where is political contestation as power going to come from? Is it what you're seeing that, you will have like little local governments which will control their local fiefdoms as a kind of pushback against the party state, or whether it's actually really a big clean sweep for the BJP party state for the next decade or so to come? Because this is a full spectrum domination. This is not, breaking into, southern India is a massive psychological and political leap. At the same time, I think it would give them caution that they have lost where the protests came from. And if I go back to what Prashant Kishore said, which he said that there will be a lot of political restiveness and protests in the country. And so I think it would be interesting to see how and where opposition is going to come from, whether it is going to, create a kind of contestatory narrative, or that the prime minister is continually going to be agile in incorporating the best ideas of the opposition and making them his own and adding to them to his brand, which is kind of what he has done this time. So I think, but let's wait till Tuesday. Till Tuesday, have you got the full number? I would love to see.
Yes. We were waiting for that. No, so these are the 4 different polls that we've been following, and the India Today Access My India poll at the upper end of its projection. Satyapal Jain ji, you may want to pay attention to this. Does talk about one more seat than the 400 par. So at the upper end of the projection. So I just think that that's an important number, because we've been talking itna zyada about ab ki baar 400 par, and everybody said kabhi ho hi nahi sakta.
Maybe at this rate ho jayega.
So
आपकी बार सचमुच में 400 पार.
So Shashi had pointed out our slide hadn't been updated, so we have updated it now. And India Today Access My India projects between 361 to 401 for the NDA, and 131 to 166 for the India Alliance, and only about 8 to 20 for the non-BJP, non-India parties. So this is very important, because while the ABP-C voter talks almost of a kind of status quoist result, same if not slightly better, India Today is actually giving a significantly better result, projecting for the NDA. Satyapal ji, quick last word, sir. 401 की projection at the upper end.
आपकी बार सचमुच में 400 पार.
Okay, we will have all of you back, I hope, with us on the actual day of the results. At the moment, here is the big story. The big story for the BJP and for Indian politics is coming from the east, where in West Bengal and Odisha, the BJP is forecast to basically be the dominant party in both Bengal and Odisha. And that's a very, very big piece of news. In the south, it's holding its command over Karnataka, gaining in Telangana, opening in states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and also sweeping with its allies through Andhra Pradesh, according to the exit poll. In the Hindi heartland, most polls suggest that in states like Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, it's a kind of status quoist result with slightly more seats for the BJP. The BJP has taken some knocks in Rajasthan and Haryana, but in Maharashtra is the only state where there is significant gains for the India Alliance projected in the exit polls. How these numbers break down, what are the margins, where individual parties now settle, what are the vote shares, these are all going to be numbers we look at more closely on counting day. We'll say thank you to Satyapal Jain, Dr. Shruti Kapila, and to Shashi Vempathi ji for joining us, and to our audience. Do join us 7:30 bright and early on 4th June. But even before that, we'll have a lot more programming, decoding the exit polls coming tomorrow. So do look out for that. Thank you for watching. Take care. We're at the Indian mainland's southernmost tip in Kanyakumari, the confluence of the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. It is from here that we're beginning our big road trip to the heart and the soul of India, Awaaz of Democracy. That's all about traveling thousands of kilometers to look at the food, the fun, the festivity, the flavors of this election, but also, of course, to tell the stories of you, the people, of we, the people. At Mojo Story, we have always gone to where the story is. It could be the battlefields of Israel and Gaza, it could be the conflict zone of Manipur, or it could be the sorrow and the tragedy of COVID. We think of all of you as members of our community, of our family. So, I'm urging you and requesting you today to help us tell your stories and our stories. So do become a Mojo member. Support and power our storytelling, but also get first access to our big interviews, our special ground reports, our town halls, and also have the opportunity to ask our newsmakers questions directly, as well as get published on our platform. Become a Mojo member, click on the link below, and see you soon.